Hi everyone, this is Andrew Reid from Georgetown University, Foundations of Real Estate Markets. Welcome to my presentation. Today, I will walk you through the complete market analysis for 701 Russell Avenue. This Lake Forest Mall complete market analysis will start by reviewing the site's zoning. I will then complete a conditions assessment of the subject property. Moving forward, I will determine market appropriate uses for the subject site by conducting separate market analysis for office, residential, retail, and mixed use. In closing, I will make recommendations as to the highest and best use for the Lake Forest Mall site. During the project conception phase, it's prudent to start with the site zoning. The Lake Forest Mall site is currently zoned C2 General Commercial with a maximum building height of 10 stories. Although the current zoning does not permit residential development, a crucial factor for the Lake Forest site is that the City of Gaithersburg Land Use Plan recommends that the subject site zoning be revised from C2 General Commercial to MXD Mixed Use Development to increase the density on the site and allow for mixed use. Another interesting factor is that Section 24-121 of the C2 zoning allows for optional high-rise development on the subject site with council approval. The Lake Forest Mall site presents the developer with a rare placemaking opportunity due to the exceptionally large 103-acre site. The site grade is attractive from a construction perspective since the topography is relatively flat and easy to build on. The property is located in the suburban city of Gaithersburg, an easy 36-minute commute from Washington, D.C. The crime index in Gaithersburg is 49 out of 100, with 100 being the safest. In the immediate vicinity of the subject site, gang activity and property crime are an issue. Sadly, the elementary and high school rankings in the immediate vicinity of the subject site are below average, with Gaithersburg High School scoring 3 out of 10, well below the national average. In addition to multiple grocery stores, the site is situated in close proximity to Costco, Sam's Club, Home Depot, and several parks, including Kelly Park and Rock Creek Regional Park. The subject site is surrounded by multi-family developments, most of which were constructed in the 70s and 80s. The subject site is also in close proximity to Johns Hopkins University and crucially is located in the I-270 technology corridor, providing residents with high-paying employment opportunities. The subject site vehicular linkages are excellent, including Montgomery Village Avenue, MD 355 and MD 124, along with the I-270 Washington National Pike, providing easy access into DC. While these roadways provide high annual average daily traffic counts for the subject site, which is a positive for retail development, the noise and air pollution caused by the high volume of vehicles is a negative factor for residential development, especially single-family homes. The Lake Forest Transit Center is located on the subject site, but there is no metro access. While metro access would be ideal, the reality is that Gaithersburg residents are car dependent. In addition, the mixed-use development Reston Town Center in Fairfax County is not located in close proximity to a metro station, illustrating that project success is not contingent on metro access. It is also important to note that the subject site has multiple ingress and egress access points, which are ideal for accommodating multiple uses on site. This Google map illustrates how accessible the commuter routes are to the subject site. Looking at the primary trade area for the subject site, it is important to be cognizant of the demographic profile of residents in the trade area, along with the vacancy rates for the office, retail, and residential sectors. As you can see from this graph, the average office vacancy rates hovering around 18% warrant caution.
The primary trade area boundaries are determined by the competing submarkets of Clarksburg Germantown to the north and Rockville to the south. To the east, the primary trade area boundary is defined by a geographical element, the Rock Creek Regional Park. To the west, the boundary extends further across I-270 into western Gaithersburg due to the absence of competing retail centers. Since office workers and residential renters and owners will commute longer distances to and from work, and the subject site is conveniently located near the I-270, the site's secondary trade area boundaries extend deep into the competing submarkets of Rockville and Clarksburg Germantown. The Lake Forest Mall site is located in the Gaithersburg Opportunity Zone, allowing developers to benefit from the deferral of capital gains tax, reduction of capital gains tax, and no tax on capital gains realized on the sale of the development project. Moreover, the tax advantages of investing in the Gaithersburg Opportunity Zone can be marketed to potential investors as well as companies that want to take advantage of the Opportunity Zone tax incentives in the event the office space is pre-sold as a risk mitigation strategy. Let's take a look now at the office market analysis. This slide outlines the 10-year deliveries, office space under construction, and absorption in the Gaithersburg market. From this graph, we can see that the office market is not in equilibrium, with negative net absorption over the last several years. Again, this slide paints a bleak picture for general office market conditions in Montgomery County, with negative 10-year net absorption. When considering the risks on the horizon for the office market, this slide does a good job of illustrating the flood of government service leases that are expiring in Montgomery County over the next 10 years. There will be approximately 3.4 million square feet of space that will be competing with the office product built on the subject site. To recap, there are a number of headwinds affecting the office market in the primary trade area. Net absorption is weak, and there is 11 million square feet of vacant space on the market. There is 3.4 million square feet of government leases set to expire within the next 10 years. There is 22 million square feet of approved office space in the development pipeline, equating to a 30-year supply. And the possibility of AI disrupting the office market supply and demand dynamics is difficult to quantify. Based on the office market analysis, I do not recommend a standalone office project on the subject site due to the previously mentioned office market risks. However, my analysis indicates that the subject site could support an office space component if it was incorporated into a mixed-use project. My initial analysis suggests that the site could support 43,790 square feet of office space. However, this number would likely increase as a result of the synergistic effect of mixing uses on site. I recommend that the developer pre-sell the office space as a risk mitigation strategy and focus on medical dental practitioners and small business owners. Let's focus on the residential market analysis now. This slide gives us an idea of what percentage of income residents are spending on rent. The fact that a large portion of residents are spending more than 50% of their income on rent indicates two things. First, additional supply is needed to depress rental rates. And second, there is demand for affordable or subsidized rental accommodations on the subject site, since a portion of the population is struggling financially. A demographic snapshot of Gaithersburg indicates that the city is ethnically diverse, highly educated, with a high proportion of families and millennials. Delving deeper into the Gaithersburg demographics, the average household income is $96,202. The unemployment rate is 5.29%. The projected percent of the population in 2020 that will be made up of families is 44.43%, and the median home value in Gaithersburg is $362,000, which includes condos. The projected population and employment growth in the primary trade area supports additional housing. In addition, the existing supply of rental and resale homes in the trade area is dated, with the majority of product built in the 70s and 80s. Furthermore, a crucial factor for residential development in the primary trade area is that the Gaithersburg Enterprise Zone encourages residential construction. Specifically, the Enterprise Zone waives impact taxes, school and transportation impacts for new residential developments located within the zone, which is $25,000 to $30,000 per unit in impact taxes for new residential apartments. That equates to $9 million in impact fees for a multifamily building with 300 units. This slide outlines the income distribution around the subject site and indicates that the residents directly surrounding the Lake Forest Mall site have average incomes that are lower than the more affluent areas of western Gaithersburg. This slide explains the ratio of renters to owners in Gaithersburg and illustrates that a higher proportion of residents in Gaithersburg are renters than the rest of Montgomery County. The fundamentals for additional housing on the Lake Forest site are positive, and there are no imminent risks on the horizon. That said, it is difficult to hedge against unknown unknowns or black swan events, and a developer cannot rule out the possibility of another housing crisis causing a decline in demand for new residential product. Alternatively, another possible risk factor would be the rise of a populist political party, leading to a decline in immigration, negatively affecting housing demand. My residential analysis indicates that the subject site supports 712 multifamily rental or condo units, and I would not recommend single-family development on the Lake Forest site. Moreover, my analysis suggests that there is a gap in the market for studio and 3-bedroom units to accommodate the growing population of millennials and young families. An important consideration for residential development is that the demand for housing product extends outside the primary trade area to DC and adjacent submarkets. Moving on to retail market analysis. Here we have a demographic snapshot illustrating the positive 5-year growth underpinning retail demand in the primary trade area. The food and beverage retail sector is largely immune to the threat of e-commerce, and both millennials and baby boomers spend a lot of their disposable income on food. Furthermore, the primary trade area population is comprised of approximately 30% Hispanics, which suggests that a Latin American-focused grocer would do well on the subject site. There are some serious risk factors threatening the retail sector. For example, retail sales are increasingly migrating online, with e-commerce undermining demand for brick-and-mortar space, with GAFO retail being especially hard hit. Moreover, millennials prefer experiences over material things. And it is also important to consider that credit is maxed out and wages are not keeping up with inflation. And without an increase in wages and spending, the retail sector has no room to grow. My retail market analysis suggests that the subject site will support 188,329 square feet of retail space on the subject site. The retail component should focus on F&B and NGNS retail with no GAFO. The development should aim to become a foodie destination, and the developer should secure a high-end grocer like Whole Foods as an anchor tenant that would act as a magnet attracting other upscale retailers. Now we are going to look at mixed-use market analysis. And this image of the Spectra mixed-use development is a good example of a successful mixed-use project with retail at grade and residential above that is in close proximity to the Lake Forest site. This course has emphasized how mixing uses leads to more vibrancy, vitality, and synergy on a development site. Mixing uses enhances the performance of each sector, lowers capitalization rates, increases a project's value, and the synergy of combining uses increases market capture.
Although investors will pay more for completed mixed-use developments, these projects are not risk-free. For example, mixed-use projects are more complicated from a planning, regulatory, and construction perspective. They take longer and cost more to build, and lenders and investors attach a risk premium to mixed-use developments. My complete market analysis indicates that the highest and best use for the Lake Forest Mall site is a mixed-use development. Mixing uses creates positive synergy where the combined effect of complementary uses is greater than the sum of its parts. Moreover, when executed well, mixed-use developments increase pedestrian traffic due to the compatibility of complementary uses, and this increased traffic creates a vitality and attractiveness that generally improves the project's performance, resulting in higher rents, lower vacancy, and ultimately a higher value project. In addition, the crucial demographic factors necessary for the success of a mixed-use development are all present on the Lake Forest Mall site: positive population, employment, and economic growth, along with above-average incomes. My analysis indicates that the subject site can support a total build-out with a 10% synergy impact of 1,013,711 square feet, comprised of 48,169 square feet of office, 207,162 square feet of retail, and 758,379 square feet of residential. With mixed use being the highest and best use for the subject site, I suggest the following. The mixed-use development should focus on connectivity between uses, making the entire project pedestrian-friendly. People need to be able to walk from their homes or offices to socialize, enjoy fine dining establishments, or grab a morning coffee. The residential space in the development should be approximately 50% rental and 50% market condos to reflect the existing owner-to-renter ratio in Gaithersburg. The development project should aim to secure a high-end grocer like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's to anchor the project and act as a magnet to attract other high-end retailers. The development should aim to become a foodie destination, since this sector is immune to the threats of e-commerce and is attractive to both millennials and baby boomers. With the aim of creating vibrancy throughout the year, the heart of the development should be a dual-purpose town square with multiple casual and fine dining options and patios overlooking the square. The town square will act as a community amenity space during the summer, hosting farmers markets and art fairs, and in the winter, the space will be utilized as an open-air ice rink, thus creating year-round activity and enhanced vibrancy. The existing water body on the site should be preserved and incorporated into a larger park network with walking and bike trails emanating from the town center of the development out to the lake. Well, this wraps up this presentation. Thank you very much for watching my complete market analysis for the Lake Forest Mall site. This research is directed by Professor Ballas from Georgetown University. For those seeking more detailed analysis, please continue to watch.